Football today isn't just about goals, trophies, and glory. It's about power, influence, and billions of dollars behind the scenes. Behind every super club, behind every mega transfer, there is power. And that power has a price. In today's video, we reveal the top 50 richest football owners in the world as of April 2026. This is not opinion, this is wealth, and we're counting it down from number 50 all the way to number 1. If you love football money stories, hit subscribe, and let's begin. Number 50. Jorge and Jose Mas come in at number 50 with a combined wealth of $2.1 billion as the owners of Inter Miami, the club that reshaped MLS with global superstardom. Number 49. Zdenek Bakala owns Dutch side Fortuna Sittard, backed by a fortune of $2.4 billion. Number 48. The Agnelli family, through Exor, own Italian giants Juventus, with wealth estimated at $2.8 billion. Number 47. Tony Bloom, the analytics mastermind behind Brighton and Hove Albion, is worth $2.8 billion. Number 46. Singaporean billionaire Peter Lim owns Spanish club Valencia with wealth of $3.0 billion. Number 45. John Textor, through Eagle Football Holdings, controls Lyon in France and Botafogo in Brazil, worth $3.1 billion. Number 44. Meg Whitman owns FC Cincinnati, backed by a fortune of $3.2 billion. Number 43. Evangelos Marinakis owns both Nottingham Forest and Greek giants Olympiakos with wealth of $3.6 billion. Number 42. Steven Paglica is a major shareholder in Atalanta with $4.9 billion. Number 41. Wes Edens, via V Sports, holds a stake in Aston Villa valued at $5.0 billion. Number 40. Guo Guangcheng, through Fosun Group, owns Wolverhampton Wanderers, worth $5.3 billion. Number 39. Ayawatat Srivatanaprabha owns Leicester City, with wealth of $5.5 billion. Number 38. Dietmar Hopp, one of football's longest-serving owners, controls TSG Hoffenheim, worth $5.8 billion. Number 37. Joey Sapito owns Bologna in Serie A and CF Montreal in MLS, backed by a fortune of $6.0 billion. Number 36. Todd Boehly and Clearlake Capital own Chelsea and RC Strasbourg with wealth of $6.1 billion. Number 35. The Joe Louis Family Trust owns Tottenham Hotspur, valued at $6.2 billion. Number 34. Russian billionaire Dmitry Rybolovlev owns AS Monaco with $6.4 billion. Number 33. David Bonderman is a major owner of Seattle Sounders, worth $6.5 billion. Number 32. Joe Mansueto owns Chicago Fire and FC Lugano, backed by a fortune of $6.7 billion. Number 31. Woody Johnson owns 43% of Crystal Palace, backed by a fortune of $6.8 billion. Number 30. Rocco Commesso owns Italian side Fiorentina, valued at $7.6 billion. 29. 49ers Enterprises own Leeds United with assets of $8.4 billion. 28. Jimmy Haslam owns Columbus Crew, backed by a fortune of $8.5 billion. 27. Josh Harris and David Blitzer jointly own Crystal Palace, also valued at $8.5 billion. 26. Tillman Fertitta owns Houston Dynamo, backed by a fortune of $9.1 billion. 25. Arthur Blank, founder of Home Depot, owns Atlanta United, worth $9.4 billion. 24. Dan Friedkin owns AS Roma and Everton, backed by a fortune of $9.5 billion. 23. Jerry Cardinale, through Redbird Capital, owns AC Milan and Toulouse, worth $10 billion. 22. Nassef Sawiris is a co-owner of Aston Villa, with wealth of $10 billion. 21. Alisher Usmanov and family, via affiliates, own FC Himki, valued at $10.5 billion. 20. Robert Kraft owns New England Revolution, backed by a fortune of $11.1 billion. 19. Shahid Khan owns Fulham, backed by a fortune of $12.1 billion. 18. Denise Coates and family controls Stoke City with $12.3 billion. 17. John W. Henry, through Fenway Sports Group, owns Liverpool with $13 billion. 16. Daniel Kretinsky owns 27.7% of West Ham United and OGC Nice with $21 billion. 15. Lakshmi Mittal owns Queen's Park Rangers, backed by a fortune of $15.2 billion. 14. Philip Anschutz owns LA Galaxy, backed by a fortune of $15.5 billion. 13. Sir Jim Ratcliffe owns 27.7% of Manchester United and OGC Nice with $21 billion. 12. David Tepper owns Charlotte FC, backed by a fortune of $24 billion. 11. Stan Kroenke owns Arsenal and Colorado Rapids, backed by a fortune of $26.2 billion. 10. François Pinault owns Stade Rennais with wealth of $27 billion. 9. Idan Ofer owns 33% of Atletico Madrid and Famalico, worth $28 billion. 8. Sheikh Mansour, through Abu Dhabi United Group, owns Manchester City and the City Football Group, valued at $30 billion. 7. Mark Mateschitz, Red Bull Air, owns RB Leipzig, Red Bull Salzburg, and New York Red Bulls, worth $35 billion. 6. Klaus Michael Kühne owns Hamburg SV, backed by a fortune of $41 billion. 5. Carlos Slim owns Spanish club Real Oviedo with a fortune of $107 billion. 4. Bernard Arnault owns Paris FC, backed by a fortune of $191 billion. 3. Brookfield, through Oaktree, owns Inter Milan, backed by assets of $210 billion. 2. The Qatar Investment Authority owns Paris Saint-Germain, backed by assets of $475 billion. And number 1, the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia owns Newcastle United, Al Nassr, and Al Hilal, backed by an astonishing $925 billion, making it the richest football ownership group in the world. Football may be played on the pitch, but it's controlled by power like this. Which owner surprised you the most, and which club is using their wealth the smartest? Drop your answers in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more deep football insights, because in modern football, money doesn't just matter, it decides everything.